सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। So, we shall continue with our talk, and the topic is characteristics of a wise man. Yesterday we discussed as to who the wise man is, and Arjuna, after having listened about the unfoldment of the teachings from Lord Krishna, and he also heard about the karma yoga, the means for preparing the mind. So both in the second chapter we find both the Brahma Vidya as well as the Yoga Shastra. Brahma Vidya means the knowledge of the self, because that is what was the main need of Arjuna. In absence of that, this moha, this delusion had occurred in him. And so, when he surrendered unto Lord started with the teaching, and the Brahma Vidya itself, the knowledge of the self itself was unfolded. But that is not enough, because knowledge always requires preparation. Mind has to be fit, mind has to be prepared for that. And what is the kind of mind that is required for this knowledge? Then the mind has to be very subtle, very sharp, and mainly very pure, without any raga dveshas, without likes and dislikes, without complaints. So, in short, when the mind is prepared for this knowledge, the knowledge of the self, then only one can proceed. Then only one can grasp the knowledge, plus can retain the knowledge, and further abide in the knowledge. So Lord Krishna did all this. He taught about the Karma Yoga also. Karma Yoga, as we have seen, is nothing but yoga of attitude. The attitude with which we have to maintain along with the karma. Karma we do in life. Everybody does something or the other. But now, each and every karma has to be done with a certain attitude. Only when that attitude is there, yoga bhavana, then the karma will become a yoga. Yoga means to join. The karma will join you. When will the karma join you? Not when you just mechanically perform an action, but it will join you when it is accompanied with the spirit of offering. Karma yoga means performing actions with a spirit of offering, the yajna bhavana. So that shift has to be brought about. And again, when you receive the results, when you perform the actions, then you receive the results. At both the times, our attitude has to change. While performing, the attitude is not to grab, not to consume, but to give. While receiving the result, also no complaints, whether it is favorable or not favorable, but you take it gracefully as coming from Ishvara. So what does this do? This changes our mind. This transforms our personality. And you begin to grow from being a small individual to becoming aware of Ishvara everywhere around you. So this is a beautiful, brilliant technique or the means which Lord Krishna gave to Arjuna. Then he concluded. And then he said that when as the process of Karma Yoga, when your mind will become quiet, then you will abide in the knowledge. When Arjuna heard this, he was curious about knowing about a person who has achieved this, whose mind has become quiet, who has heard about the Brahma Vidya, and then with the means of Karma Yoga has made his mind ready for this. As a result, now he abides in knowledge. He abides in knowledge, or he is in the process of owning up the knowledge. He may or may not be abiding, but definitely he is on that line. So when Arjuna heard this, he immediately, there is a question in his mind. This we have done yesterday, so I am recapping. So that you can be with us today. So he asked that what is the characteristics of a person who abides in knowledge, who abides in the self, which is Satchidananda, which is nothing but of the nature of happiness, peace, contentment. This is what the self is. This self, here we are talking about ourself. This is the self of everyone. So Arjuna is saying, how is that person? How does he behave? How does he walk? How does he talk? How does he respond to the world? But the spirit of it, he is not asking that how does a wise man walk and talk and like that. But the spirit of the question was, how does he respond? When he is with the world, when he is facing situations, circumstances that occur in his life too, he comes across people. The people may be difficult. People are what they are. So how does he come across them? This is what he wants to know. So he asked this question, and Lord Krishna started talking about it. So in Bhagavad Gita, when Lord Krishna replies, then that whole portion is known as Sthita Prajna Lakshanani. They are the traits, characteristics of a Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna means one whose wisdom, one whose intellect abides very well in the self. Whose prajna means wisdom, mind, intellect abides very well in the self, doesn't waver. Like a lighthouse, lighthouse in the midst of the ocean, and waves are coming and storms are coming and what not is happening in the ocean. Tsunamis also occur, but the lighthouse remains steady, unaffected. Nothing happens. Doesn't mean insensitive. But this is what Lord Krishna is going to, in short, from verse number 55 onwards. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, began to describe the characteristics of a wise person. We have already seen one, but that one is the most important. In verse number 55, Lord Krishna said, who is the wise person? Then he said, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanye vatmana tushtaha stita prajnaha tada uchyate. It says that when a person very well gives up all the desires that occurs in the mind, and then he is happy in himself by himself. He is happy in himself by himself, then he is called Estita Prajna. So we were discussing this. The most important trait or the characteristic of a wise man is that he is happy with himself. This is not an ordinary thing. When we compare an ignorant person, then the thing is altogether different. Happiness is everybody's need. See, without exception, everybody wants happiness. We cannot live without happiness. We all constantly seek happiness. If we ask someone, how much happiness do you want? For 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, how many days? The answer will be forever, 24/7, 365 days. And that too constant. So this is something we all need. But the difference between an ignorant person, ignorant doesn't mean that we all are ignorant. Ignorance means we seek for happiness in the world outside. Outside of us. For the need for happiness, we try to seek it from the world outside. From a person, place, thing, object, anything. We seek it outside. And the wise man is the one who doesn't have to look for happiness. He has found it in himself. What is the difference here? Is there some miracle that he has performed? No. He has discovered the happiness which is the nature of everyone. It is not that only he found it and only his Atma has it and he discovered it from within. No. It is birthright of everyone. We all can have that happiness from ourselves, provided we know something. So that is something to be understood. He has found it from within. Now he is no more dependent upon anything. Absolutely nothing. It's a big, big achievement. So how did he do it? The process began with knowledge. First of all, you know about the self. Without waiting, without looking as to whether I need it or not, we immediately start running outside. That is what ignorance has done. Avidya, what has avidya done? Ignorance, what has Maya or avidya done in our life? It has covered. It has covered the very nature. And nature of whom? The very self. See, what avidya has done, ignorance has done. It has not only covered, which means today, because of ignorance, not only do I not know who I am, understand this well, not only do I not know who I am, but I take what is not I as I. Problem is very confusing, very perplexing. What is not I, non-I, is taken as I. And what is I don't know. The body is not I, means not Atma, not self. The entire complex, this entire assembly, consisting of how many things? Many things. Body is there, vital airs are there, sense organs are there, mind is there, intellect is there. This entire complex is not I, is non-I. It is Anatma. Lord Krishna says this very clearly in 13th chapter. He says, Idam shariram kaunteya kshetram iti abhidiyate. He says, this body, O Kaunteya, O Arjuna, O son of Kunti, this body, idam shariram, he must be pointing out in this way. Idam shariram kaunte kshetram iti abhidiyate. This body is called kshetra. Kshetra means object of your experience. It is something which you objectify. And there is always a distance between the objectifier and the object that is objectified. Seer and the seen are different. They are never one. Seer, I am seeing you all. So, I am different from you. You are different from me. Similarly, I see this body. I see the pranas, what the vital air is doing inside, coming in, going out, digestive system, everything we are aware of. Similarly, we are aware of all our sense organs too. Karmendriyani, Jnanendriyani, we all know. Plus, we know the thoughts of the mind also. I am angry, don't talk to me now. You better keep away. Why? Because I am angry. How did you know that you are angry? How did you know? The thought of the anger occurred on the screen of the mind. The thought of happiness, the thought of unhappiness, the thought of competition, jealousy, these are the different thoughts, the different modes of mind. And I am aware of them. They are coming, now going. Now I am fine. Which means I am aware. This shows that mind is also seen. Mind is also drishya, something that is seen. And I am the seer. Who is the seer? Atma, the consciousness. Consciousness illumines the mind, the thoughts of the mind and everything. In short, all of this is nothing but non-I. But we all have made the mistake. Which mistake? We have taken this as I, which is equally like this object. I use this object, I use the pen, but I am not the pen that I know. Similarly, I use this body, but here the mistake is I am the body, I am the mind. So, I have put the non-I in the place of I. So, this is what ignorance has done. And that is why an ignorant person takes himself to be limited and doesn't know who he is, and therefore looks for happiness outside, because this body, mind, all this are limited in every way. However great a person may be, however accomplished a person may be, but still it is limited. Still his capacities are limited, and limitation is something we cannot accept, because it is not integral to us. It is not integral to the nature of the self. That is why we cannot live without it. You understand? Why I cannot live without happiness? Because happiness is my nature, and due to ignorance I have taken myself to be without happiness, and I think that happiness is outside of me, out there, and I keep on seeking it all the time. Whereas, what has happened in the case of wise man? He knows where it is. So all this is, first we have to know. Shravanam, this knowledge we have to go to someone who knows, who very well knows what the self is, go to them and learn about it, which here already Lord Krishna has imparted this knowledge to Arjuna in the second chapter. Then he also showed him the means. Prepare your mind for that, for gaining that knowledge, for retaining that knowledge. Prepare it. That is also given. And so this person, and he lived the life of Karma Yoga also as a process. Because of Shravanam, because of listening, reflecting upon it, meditating upon it, and living a life of Karma Yoga, he was making himself. So sadhana is done. As a result, now this person has found, discovered the happiness from himself. From himself, which means he now knows that I am happiness. Nature of the self is what? Taittiriya Upanishad says, Raso vai saha. Raso vai saha. Atma is nothing but of the nature of rasa. Rasa means joy. Rasa means nothing but happiness. Ananda. Ananda is not something outside of me. It is me. Not something belonging to me also. It is me. I. This is everybody's nature. Everybody's nature. But the difference between the wise man and ignorant is this, that the ignorant looks for happiness outside. Constantly seeking, constantly. And wise man has found it. How did he find it? Brahma Vidya, knowledge, plus lived a life of karma. The happiness began to manifest while he was living the life with the attitude of Karma Yoga. That is why we insist upon Karma Yoga. That live a life of giving, sharing, loving, caring, and gracefully accept whatever comes to you. Every time you fall back upon yours, I am fine, I am fine, I am ready to give, not always ask and demand and assert, this is my right, this is my this. No. So, Karma Yoga itself was living that life. He was practicing that life. As a result, today, now the happiness has manifested. He has now found it. And that is the most important characteristic of a wise man. He has found it. We can also find it, provided we do all this. That is why the characteristics of a wise man which are now which is now spontaneous for him, has to be acquired by us by living that life. We have to deliberately cultivate that. How do we cultivate? Shastra says, scriptures say that I am happiness. So start living. Now I don't need anything. I am here to give. In the background, the knowledge is to be there. But every time live life keeping this knowledge in mind. Keep this knowledge in background. In the backdrop of the intellect, we should always, this ready reference has to be there. What? Scriptures say, I am happiness. I am full. I am not the small individual that I take myself to be. And now, to make it a reality, understand, to make it a reality, I will have to fake it and make it. I will have to start living that life. Start doing that. Begin that. Wise men did that. And as a result, the spring of happiness, he has now found it, is flowing from him. So that is what is the main characteristics. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. In himself, by himself. Totally independent. And that is why, let me tell you, had the self not been of the nature of happiness, how would he find it? Tell me. He is happy. Nobody can make a show of happiness for long. In front of others, you may, keep smiling and laughing and all that. But if you are unhappy within, how long can you be without happiness? But he has found it, and it is evident from him. So, had the self not been of that nature, he would not find it. And let me tell you, to the extent we find it, the desires drop. In the case of wise man, Dt-3, all his desires have gone, are dropped. He did not renounce them. Desires have gone. They can no longer be with him. Why? Because they've resolved in him. Whatever he wanted is found in himself. How can we do? It is not a sudden thing. To the extent we find, to that extent the desires go. See, supposing I have fractured my leg. I have fractured it. So today I am on crutches. And now 2-3 months have passed. Now the doctor is telling me, now you can drop. When will I drop the crutches? When I begin to find that yes, I can walk now without the crutches. When my legs are strong enough, then slowly and slowly I will drop the crutches and again start walking on my own. The child also, when he is too, in the beginning he holds on to the mother's finger and we give them that thing, for walking. But how long? Moment he can run and walk, he will drop that. He will not hold on to the mother's hand also, doesn't? He wants independence. I can do it. I will do it. Similarly, how long will the desires remain? I want this, I want that. How long will they remain? Until you find it from within. To the extent, let me tell you, understand this very well. To the extent I find, desires will become less. People report, sadhakas who are on this path, they report that now we don't like to. See, there is nothing wrong in going for parties and clubs and all that. There is nothing wrong. But mumukshus, seekers, sadhakas, they come and report that now we don't like to go. Now we don't like to go and socialize so much, go for parties and receptions and clubs and this and that. Why? What is wrong? Go. What is wrong with that? I don't like it. I like to be with myself. I like to read. I like to listen to the talks. I like to do puja. I like to do kirtan. I like to serve. I'm happy. I'm happy. Which means what? He's finding joy in satsang, in shravanam, in kirtan, in bhajan, in all this finding joy. And to that extent, all those things become a burden. Then you no more need it. There are some people, our sadhakas, they say that my now husband, he is all the time in his room. Gets up in the morning, takes tea, that he will not make on his own. Especially Indian husband. In India, not here. In India. Make a cup of tea, coffee, etc. Then goes to his room. And then I have to call him at 12 o'clock, come for meal. Until then he is reading, being with himself, meditating, whatever. Then again goes to his room. And again dinner time I have to call him, come now. But the meal is ready. So all other things have dropped. Otherwise he used to harass his wife, children, meddle with them, all this. But now go out but now nothing. Why? Desires have dropped. Restlessness is gone. Where did it go? Found it in himself. What? So this is the process, This is the proof that Atma is of the nature of happiness. So we have to keep doing this. More we do it, more we listen, joy has to come. Without Ananda we cannot live. So discover is this joy. I cannot force, no, I am Ananda. By saying this, I won't become Ananda. But I have to find Ananda. When I find it from myself, to that extent, no need. No need doesn't mean he is indifferent or insensitive, but now no more dependent. And then let me tell you, retirement is a big blessing. Now you can utilize your retirement. Otherwise, retiring from this and taking up another job. In India, you have to retire by force. Certain age means you have to retire. But then he will start another business. Go to his son's office. Son doesn't like it. Son doesn't want him to come, but he will go. Why cannot be with himself? It's not easy to be with yourself, to sit quietly. Not easy. Bhagavan says, Nahi, Arjuna wanted to take sannyasa, right from the beginning. Bhagavan said, wait a minute, don't be too hasty. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. Oh Arjuna, not for a single moment can one remain without action. Even if we are outside quiet and we force ourselves to sit, like this. But mind is running. Desires are coming. So many projects are coming up inside. We are very busy in there. So, this has to happen. And how will it happen? As I said, you have to live that life of giving. When you give, you get. What is there becomes manifest. So, this is what happens with the wise man. And that is why we see, there are Mahatmas who are living in forests, in deep forests, in Himalayas, in mountains, in caves, where there is nothing to get enjoyment from, no entertainment, no YouTube, no Facebook, no friends. You don't even know where the next meal will come, where first meal will come from. No guarantee. And some Mahatmas don't go and beg for bhiksha also. It will come if it has to come. Imagine. That is their strength. And Bhagavan takes care of them. It will come. I won't go for it. And it is a big miracle, Food goes there. In the dark, deep forest, dense forest, food goes. Some villager will go. No Mahatma will remain without food. Bhagavan takes care of them. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. Bhagavan says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janav paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyaham. He says, those who are devoted to me all the time. Ananya means they look upon me as their very self. Ishvara is looked upon as the very self. I am Ishvara. He is not different from me. To such devotees, such man of knowledge, they need not bother about anything. There are two concerns in our life, yogaha and kshemaha. Yoga means acquiring what I don't have. That is called yoga. And kshema, yoga has many meanings, but one of the meanings, acquiring what I don't have. And kshema means protecting, retaining is another concern. We earn money and then now how to protect this, how to invest this, how to keep it make it double for the late days of our life. All these things are big concerns, not doesn't happen on its own. You have to work for it. Wise man has no time. He says, I am not concerned with all this. This body now belongs to Ishvara. Just as this is Ishvara, this is also something that Ishvara has to take care. I need not bother. And it happens. It happens. So, what I am saying is, they live in that in that forest, enjoying themselves, all happy. You must have heard about, there are so many Mahatmas, even now, living there. You must have heard about Tapovanji Maharaj, Guru of Chinmayananji Maharaj. He used to love being in solitude, and don't think that in Himalayas he had some big overcoats and shoes, and men like if we have to go, we will have 10 coats and this and that, socks and shoes and whatnot. Nothing at all. No overcoats, nothing. He used to roam about barefooted in Himalayas. Just imagine. Enjoying. What does this prove? The moral of the lesson is what? What? Tell me. Atma is nothing but happiness. And they are that. They have found it. So, this is the main trait. Now, one of the questions of Arjuna was, how does he respond? How does he respond to the world? Why is he asking all this? So that I know what is to be done. So that Mumukshu has a reference that we should also cultivate this habit. What is cultivated deliberately with effort, will in course of time become natural. 2 2s are 4 for a child in the beginning is to be mugged up. But today for us, very easy. Easy means it just comes. Similarly, all this was part of the effort. But now, for a wise man, it has become natural expression. So Arjuna is asking, please tell me, how does he respond to the world? How does he respond to different situations that life presents? And life will bring different circumstances even for him. No exception. Just because he is now wise, that doesn't mean life is all smooth for him. No. So, what will be his response? The verse number 56. I am reading. If you can repeat. Repeat after me. Dukkeshvanudvignamanaha Dukkeshvanudvignamanaha Sukeshu vigataspruhah Vitaragabhayakrodah Stitadirmuniruchyate. See, Bhagavan says, Dukkeshu, Arjuna had asked, now how kim prabhasheta? How does he respond? So Bhagavan says, Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha. When circumstances are not favorable, not pleasant by any view. Dukkeshu anudvig. When this kind of circumstances are before him, his mind is not affected. Anudvigna manaha. His mind is not affected at all. Then, okay, but when some people, may remain very stoic in face of difficult situations, but when something favorable happens, then they start jumping like football. Is that what happens with this man? So Bhagavan says, Sukeshu. Sukeshu means in favorable situations. Vigata spruhaha. There is no craving from him that it happens, let it happen again and again. Let it happen again. No encore. Encore means, you want it when somebody sings very well. Then there is a demand from the audience, encore. And sing again. So when something good happens, then in the heart there will be a longing. What? Let it happen again. Let this moments remain forever. Let the time stop. Let me just enjoy. Let this not go. No, not for him. Sukheshu vigata spruhaha. There is no craving from within, because he is already full. Second line says, plus Vita raga bhaya krodha. From him these things have gone. Which things? Ragaha, bhayaha, krodha, attachment, fear and anger. These things have left him. This is very difficult to get rid of raga, attachment, fear. Wherever there is attachment, there is fear. With attachment, fear is there. Fear and attachment go together. Desire and anger go together. These are the things, they go together. For him, no raga, attachment, no fear, no anger. And that is why Sthita Dihi, his wisdom, his mind remains steady. Sthita, steady. That is why he is called Munihi. Muni means the one who abides in himself, one who is always contemplating upon the self. Contemplation is something, you can't force your mind. Contemplate now. You can't force it. That is not a matter of will. It has to happen. Mind has to become contemplative. When will it become contemplative? When it is happy with itself. Otherwise, most of the time, mind is preoccupied with things outside. How this thing I will acquire. What are the obstacles? How to prevent them? How to get this? You have to plan and do so many things. Then something happens. To build a house is not easy. To buy a car is not easy. This thing, to get a job, to retain it, all these things are not easy. Constantly keep working. When the mind is occupied with things like this, at a time it cannot do two things. Either it is focused outside or focused inside. With the object of attachment, it is gone. When the son has gone away, then when will he come back? If he comes back or not. Now he has gone to America, he will not now come. Story of every house in India. All the children have gone. So parents are always afraid whether they'll be here with us in the old age or not. Some kind of fear. Just an example I am giving. Fear, anger, all these things are there. And when the mind is replete with these things, cannot be steady. Cannot be steady. Cannot, and Atma requires all focus, all attention. For a wise man now, it has happened. He does not have to bring his mind, but his mind is only in Atma and only in Ishvara. So, he is free from all this. The first thing is Dukkheshu Anudvignam. See, why we are discussing this? So that we also become like him. Dukkeshu Anudvignamanaha. In life, understand. What will happen tomorrow? What will happen the next moment? I do not know. They say, what is up in the sleeves of the future? Nobody can say. So, same thing with him. Prarabdha, the destiny, unfolds every moment. Every moment, the results are unfolding themselves. Some of them may be favorable, some of them not favorable. Pleasant, unpleasant, likable, not likable. This is there for him. This is circumstances are there for him also. And there are three sources of sorrow. Three sources of sorrows are there. One is Adhyatmika. Sorrow coming from myself. I have a headache and stomach ache and this COVID and so many things. We all have experienced this. So, one source of sorrow comes from our own self, Adhyatmika dukkha. Then other cause of sorrow, source of sorrow is Adi Bhautika. Adi Bhautika means from outside of myself. I want to study, but in the opposite house, the wedding is there. And so much hustle and bustle and singing and dancing and all this is going on. I cannot study. So what I mean is that also becomes a source of dukkha for me coming from outside. Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, and third one is Adi Daivika, coming from celestials, from Devata, earthquake, too much of rain, no rain at all, forest fire, this fire, that fire, so many things, COVID, nobody, it was Adi Daivika. We just have no control over these things. So these are there for everyone. Sometimes they ask the question, wise man, does he have headache? Does he have stomach ache? Does he get heart attack? He has heart, so Swamiji says, because he has heart, he can get heart attack. Because he has kidney, the kidneys may fail. Body remains the same. And karmas of the past are there for him also. That is why some Mahatmas, they also have cancer. Ramakrishna Paramahamsji, he also had cancer. Many Mahatmas. Vivekanandji went away so early. So early. His life was not easy. His body had so many problems. Because didn't have enough to eat most of the time. In the early years of his life, when he took sannyasa, things were very difficult, extremely difficult for him. So much of poverty and so many. So body suffers. So Adhyatmika dukkha is there. But anudvigna manaha, mind is not affected. Pain is there, sorrow is not there. When the stomach ache is there, pain is there. And he may take medicine also, painkiller you also have to take, Combiflame, whatever, Tylenol, what is, you take. But why did it happen? Why cancer to me and not to others? Why God is unjust to me, unfair to me? Why to me? Why me? This question is there, no, why me? If we have headache, we will keep on telling everyone, I have headache, I have headache, I have headache. Then you will also have headache. Listening to me and my grumbling will give you also headache. That is not the case with him. This is one situation, it will come and go. And it doesn't touch me. Atma is asangaha. Asango hi ayam purushaha. Atma is totally unconnected. There is no connection of the self and the body. And where are you? Are you identified with the body? Some connection is there. So when the body has problem, I will have headache, stomach ache, everything. But I am fine when I am with myself. I know that it is because of the karmas of the past, prarabdha. Let it exhaust itself. He doesn't do anything to stop it. The prayer will not come out from him that why did this happen to me? Oh God, take it away. On the contrary, it's happening. So, similarly, Adi Bhautika there are people who are very adversarial to him, to Mahatmas. They cannot stand him. They may create problems. Those kind of things also happen. He doesn't go and fight with them. There is love for them also. Adi Daivika also happens. But in all these circumstances, in the face of all the situations is he remains unaffected because he lives in another plane. His mind is there. He is there. And puts up with all this. Puts up. So, vigatas, when there are, this is about unpleasant situations. And when there are pleasant situations, favorable things happening, that time also he doesn't, there is no yearning from him that may this happen again. May this happen again. We friends, friends have all gathered, everybody is enjoying. So then let us meet every year like this. Let us now extend our vacation. Let us not, that kind of thing just doesn't happen, Why? Because he is not empty. He is already full. So, there is no prayer from him that let this happen again and again and again. In 14th chapter also, while describing a gunatita, same kind of discussion comes there. Lord Krishna says, who is a man who is beyond the gunas, the qualities? Prakasham cha pravrittim cha. Moham eva cha pandava. In his mind also, there may be a good thought. Sometimes because of rajas and past samskaras, some other thoughts may also come. But he remains, it is on the screen of the mind. I am not the mind. So no identification. He doesn't identify, remains unattached. Because of this, knows the Atma, Anatma distance very well. Plus, he knows that this is a big dream. This is a big drama. And in drama, there are, there is a plot. And according to the plot, I gain also and I lose also. I lose also. So, life is like that. Sometimes one kind of plot, at another time another kind of plot. It doesn't affect me. As we see, Lord Krishna himself was like that. His life was full of ups and downs, but we never see him sitting and crying or lamenting. Never. In case of Rama also, on the previous night, Dashratha, his father comes and tells him that tomorrow is your coronation. Be ready, wake up early and get ready. Sage Vasishta will come and take you. Fine. When he heard this, there was no prasannatam gatana bishi. When he heard about this, he was not jumping with joy. On the contrary, what he felt, in Ramcharitmanas we read that he was wondering, why should I be made the king? Why not my other brothers? This he is thinking, that just because I am little elder, I should be given this chance and not others. It's not jumping with joy at the thought of this, when this is going to happen. And next moment, when in the morning when he got up, the news came what? Kaikeyi sent the news. You have to go to the forest for how many years? Well, not 1 or 2. 14 years. We will have heart attack that time itself listening to that. But no depression. No sinking in sorrow. Imagine where they are. Here at every moment you see how fragile, how weak we have become. Every second person I am here is in depression. And nowadays there is no taboo attached with saying that I was in depression for 2 months. My child was in depression. People speak, this is things as if it is normal. As if it is normal. See the condition of the mind, how weak we have become. Who has become so weak? Atma. Atma, who is the fundamental reality, has become so weak that every second moment in depression. Depression? What is this? When I hear this, I'm really astonished, Every second person is depressed, taking drugs and this and that. Can't handle yourself, can't handle the mind, can't handle life, can't handle if the outcome is not as per my expectations. Or everything will not go as you expect. You are not the one who decides everything. But either we are not ready. Parents should teach children all this. These are the lessons. We have to teach them. Be ready to face life. Don't succumb. Don't succumb to situations. Parents themselves have to learn and teach children. So, wise man has made it. No spruha, no yearning for this, no sitting and lamenting. Now what will happen? He is always in control. In fact, just allows things to pass. Let me tell you, this is a very big achievement. It will not happen on its own. This is mastery of the mind. Mastery over everything. We have to work for it. Teach yourself. Educate yourself. If I don't get the job and my friend gets it, okay. It was there in his destiny, not in mine. I didn't get visa, I didn't get I lost my job, okay. That is not the end of life. That is not the end of life. If we will remain stable, then there will be a way out. Otherwise, mind is depressed, no way out now. This is to be done. We have to sit up and understand. Take time out. Talk to yourself. That I cannot allow situations to destabilize me like that. Remote control I cannot give to situations in the world. I cannot be a puppet. Be strong. That one has to learn. You must be knowing. I'll tell you not a story, but a thing that happened in the life of a philosopher, a Greek philosopher. He was a man of knowledge and he was migrating. So he has already come and he is now waiting for his family who is coming in the ship with all the assets and everything. They are coming. So he is waiting for that. And suddenly a person comes and knocks the door. So he asked, who is it? Then the person came in. He opened the door and that person came inside. He said, sir, the ship which was bringing your family and your assets and your everything has sunk in the ocean. This person is saying, what? Then next, this was his first response. And the next response was, so what? So what? So that fellow thought maybe he has not heard it right. So he said, sir, your wife and only child are gone, drowned in the ocean. He said, what? Next moment, so what? By crying and weeping and shouting and howling, they are not going to come back. Sir, all your assets is gone. What? So what? I will again do something. I will again work hard. Don't think that he did not hear. When he said what, there was no problem with his hearing. He heard it, but there was difficulty for a second in accepting it. But very next moment he recovered. Very next moment he recovered. So what? In this, what and so what may take, if you are not prepared and not mature, it may take years and years and years for us. A thing has happened and we never recover. Whole life may go. Whole life may go in this. People never recover. And some immediately. What? So what? This is real education. Real success. Real success of life is this. So, this is a wise man. This is the one who has made it. Now, the second line of this, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha, I would like to do it tomorrow. Because tomorrow is again another venue is there. We are going to Laguna Woods. And there, since this is related to that, and this is everybody has to deal with that. What? Raga, attachment is there, fear is there, anger is there, jealousy is there, greed is there. These are the common problems. So, wise man has won over that. But how to win over all this? That I would like to, so that it remains one topic only. Plus, there may be some people who are new over there. Some of you may, I'm sure all of you may come there, so that we will be taking this line and will also show what happens when you lose your control. When you lose control of the mind, when a desire catches hold of you, and when you expect, no, what I desire, I should have. There are some people, very proud and arrogant who declare, I never take no for an answer. They declare, things too big of themselves. Things are not in your control. Bhagavan doesn't ask you whether should I do this or not. Bhagavan doesn't ask you, should I do this to you or not? Things happen. We have to be ready. We have to be ready. This is real education. We may be PhDs and MBAs and what not. Very good. I appreciate that. One should become. But again, all these outer achievements we may have, but we don't work with our mind. We don't work with this instrument, and everything gets filtered through that. You understand what I am saying? All that you have in life, you understand through your mind. Now, if you have not worked with your mind, then don't think this will be enough. This has certain kind of, place in life. But all these things comes through a mind here. Through this mind, everything will get filtered. So sometimes we see, very often, that people are very wealthy, highly accomplished people, but their nature, their disposition, their personal life, if you look into that, there is nothing worthwhile over there. There is nothing but big holes. Why? We are not making fun of anybody. But because all that education did not help him to change his mind. One has to work with this oneself. Unless you do that, nothing will help you. After gaining everything, person is unhappy, lonely. I am very lonely. Nobody talks to me. Nobody calls me. Nobody loves me. These problems remain. With big houses and mansions and everything, what not? This country, what do you not have? Everywhere now. But I cannot command happiness. With all that, I don't command happiness. It has to come. What is my nature? has gone away far from me. That is why this discussion, wise man happily abides. He has made it. But we have to make it. We have to take charge of our life. Take charge. You take other charges. But this charge, always unattended. Never paid attention. So shouting and crying and arrogance and no two people can see eye to eye. Nobody is happy being together under one roof but still apart. Where is all your education gone? No harmony, no happiness. Where is everything gone? With everything, we are not ready to part. We are not ready to give. Remain same empty persons, same shallow people. So happiness is art of living. This is art. What is here has to be brought out, and it needs education, teaching. That is why we are talking about this. Otherwise, wise man doesn't want you praise me and talk about me. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. He doesn't bother. He doesn't want any name and fame. He runs away from all this. But we are talking of him because we want to become like him. So, we will talk about this tomorrow. So, it will be the same topic, treated in a little different way, so that newcomers can also join and find a connection. Okay? Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
So we can have a satsang, and if anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to ask one.
One second.